Hello and welcome to the Q&A. I've literally just come off a podcast episode with the incredible squaddy Lizzie Ball that is going to be released in a couple of weeks. Lizzie is a super busy mum, currently juggling two jobs, so she is an amazing musician and also a high performance coach. And I've been chatting all about basically what she does and how she is managing to fit her fitness in and make sure that she's making time to show up as the best musician, coach, and mum to little Tommy, as well as showing up for herself. And as a lot of parents know, and even if you're not a parent, even if you're just like a dog mum, a dog mum, or you're working a really busy life and career, you know what it's like to juggle multiple things. So I'm really looking forward to releasing that one. And also, as we speak, gang, I have put in the WhatsApp group a little vote for next week, a little vote for next week. So let me know what you think, because I'm going to be making the timetable later on today. I'll save it until tonight, just in case any more votes come in. But anyway, on with the Q&A. But first, if you've been doing the Advent Challenge, keep tagging us on your socials. Remember, you need to hit 21 out of 24 to get the achievement, to get the Advent achievement. And that, we need to see that you've done it. Otherwise, we won't be able to grant it. So make sure you do keep putting that out there. And I'm also going to be deciding on the January focus for the squad. So the focus and challenges are things that are optional. You don't have to do them, but I always like to have something ticking over. So I'll be sorting out the January focus this week, which is very exciting. And don't forget, we've got January Pump Up the Jam social as well. Something fun for when January can sometimes be a little bit dreary, although it can be a new start as well. It can be a little bit dreary, rubbish weather. But it is mine and Will's birthdays as well. So just saying it's actually a great month. But anyway, I thought I'd bring a little bit of light to January. So if you're around or if you fancy coming to Nottingham, then come and join us. So let's get on with the Q&A. Some short fire questions this week, team. And I know that you're going to be busy, so I'm going to try and keep this short fired with enough detail. Now, question number one, if time is very short, what should I focus on? If time is really short, as this time of year usually goes, then what I would say is head to the bolt-on area. I think the most important thing is consistency and making sure you're doing something regularly. So I always say, for me personally, I think working out first thing in the morning, and this is what I do for myself as well, I work out in the morning. That is the best way to stay consistent, especially if I'm short on time. I will just, if I need to, I'll just get up a bit earlier. Yeah, I might be a little bit tired, but it's actually energizing to do a workout. And it also makes sure that you sleep better that following night as well, or that night. So I would say consistency above all. And that might be something like I'm going to do a short workout on the bolt-on area Monday to Friday, or I'm going to do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or I'm going to do a weekend warrior Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever that is. And for now, if you're really struggling for time, just make them shorter, take the pressure off, head to the bolt-on area and just do something a little bit shorter. Or if you're needing that motivation, you want to do something quick in the morning, come and hop on the 6 o'clock class or the 6:30 class and do a workout then. 20 minutes later, you'll be feeling a million times better. So there's a couple of things there, but what we've got to remember with online is it's the full flexibility. You can work out whenever, wherever you are. So we've removed all the barriers to working out. So apart from that, the only person standing in your way will be you. So just remember that, bear that in mind, and know that everyone has the power to choose. We can do whatever we want. We just have to be willing to deal with the consequences. And the consequences of not working out are feeling sluggish, a bit annoyed at yourself, losing a bit of fitness. Whereas on the other side of it, we could be getting fitter. We could be ticking over a little bit. It might be a bit more of a cruise period. So, okay, we're not going to be smashing PBs because we're too busy this time of year, but we're cruising along, we're ticking over, and we're making sure that we're still showing up for ourselves. We're improving our energy, and we're going into the new year rather than feeling rubbish and feeling really sluggish and a bit, I was going to say a rude word, a bit word that rhymes with rappy. Then you're going into the new year feeling in a much better place. So that's what I would do. Is a bolt-on power walk okay if you're really short on time? Oh, absolutely, absolutely. They're more than okay. So the bolt-on power walks, some of them, some of them are like, is it 6 or 7 minutes long? Anyway, if you go into the bolt-on area, or you can also find those in the power walking area, they're so good for boosting your energy, getting the heart pumping, switching our brain on. So there's a bit of coordination involved in there, I guess. So I was stepping to the side and the other side, not too much coordination. And I want to add as a caveat there that with online, you don't need to be coordinated because, hey, if we're going one way and you're going the other way, it does not matter. You could just tell everyone that you've flipped your camera, or you might be on demand and no one will see anyway. So you don't need to worry about that. Um, sorry, I just went off on a tangent then, didn't I? Basically, yes, it's perfect, it's brilliant, it'll give you that boost, it'll give you that energy boost. And hey, a workout is as hard as you make it, right? You could do a 7 minute power walk and be absolutely sweating by the end of it if you wanted to. So, yes, in answer to that. And whenever you're thinking, like, is it actually worth it? I've only got a short amount of time. Is it actually worth it? Like, what gain am I going to get? So much. The gain you get from doing something as opposed to nothing is phenomenal. Even if that something is a 5 minute core workout, like the gain you get, the benefit you get with how you feel is massive, as opposed to the person who is already doing, say, for example, all the workouts in the week, they're doing like 10, 20 minute workouts, and then they decide to do something at the weekend as well. Like that extra 7 minutes that they decide to do at the weekend, that additional benefit is going to be much less than the person who isn't doing anything and then decides to do that 7 minute workout. That the benefit for that person is absolutely massive. Not to say that if you're doing 10 and you really want to do one, there's no point. There is a point, but the point I'm making is there is always a point of doing it, particularly if you're in a place where you don't have much time and you're not in a regular routine. 100% get it done. You'll feel so much better. Next question. Healthy options when I'm away from home, for example, lunch and dinner options at a train station. Okay, so for a lot of us who might be traveling this time of year or work away a lot, so maybe going down to London if you're from Nottingham, I know loads of people who get the commuter train first thing down into London from where we live. It can be tricky. It can be really tricky. So you might be fed at some meetings, or maybe you're not going to be fed and you're having to get lots of food on the go. So here are my top tips for that. The first thing I would say is prep where you can. Take things down with you where you can. So if you're getting an early morning train, can you prep your breakfast before and just take it with you? And it might be an overnight oats, which is, by the way, some oats, throw a bit of milk in, maybe some berries or whatever you want to add. You don't even have to do that. Maybe a spoonful of peanut butter. You don't even have to add that if you don't want to. Maybe some protein powder. You don't even have to add that. Basically, just stick it all in the fridge and in the morning you can take it with you. Some people like to add yogurt to make it a little bit thicker as well. But anyway, that is one example of something that can take 30 seconds that you can put in the fridge and in the morning, grab it and go. I would, and if you can, take a lunch with you if that's appropriate, if you can carry it around with you, if there's somewhere where you can leave it where, it's going to stay cool, if you've got like a little lunch bag that you can take with you, and prepping healthy snacks that you can take with you too. That might be boiled eggs. Or if you're going to be the most hated person in the office, it might not be that. It might be taking some fruit. It might be taking some yogurt with you if you are taking a little lunch bag. It might be taking some nuts and seeds. It might be taking some bars down with you, like naked bars, which tend to be a little bit less processed. So you could grab a load of those or grab a pack of those. I quite like Belvita bars as well. Like, okay, they might be a little bit more processed. They're kind of more like biscuity bars. I tend to like them. I also take protein bars with me. So I would have grenade bars. Like, yeah, they're not perfect. They're a bit processed, but they're high in protein. They keep me feeling full for longer. It's, they're not bad. Nothing is bad for you in moderation. So they're my tips, first of all. Taking lots of stuff with you where you can. And my main ones personally would be, and this is just me, I would be taking fruit down with me in my bag. I'd be taking protein bars and I'd be taking something like naked bars, or that kind of thing. Kind bars are also quite good. Or whatever your thing is. So then I know that I've got a few healthy snacks that I can grab if I'm struggling. Now, if you're looking for some lunch dinner options, a lot of places tend to be really quite good now, but these are the things you want to mainly focus on. You want to be starting with your protein source. So no matter what you choose, whether it is a sandwich or a salad or whatever it is, be looking for the protein source first and foremost. So that's where you want to begin with the protein source. And then from there, it's going to be a case of opting for things that are kind of lower in sources or added things. So if you really wanted to go into it, you could look on the back of the packet and see, okay, what can I pronounce? What can't I pronounce? How many ingredients are in here? But generally, you could you could delve into this. It's more about what you do on a consistent basis as opposed to this every day. Like if you were doing this every day, if you were faced with this every single day and every day you needed to go and get your lunch from like a meal deal lunch or something, then we'd need to be talking about the best options here, like a little bit more in depth, really, and going into this. But if this is just something that happens every so often, then it's a case of, well, usually on a consistent basis, like I'm making my own lunches or I'm choosing really good options. It's just kind of like all right, a make do situation. So anyway, like I said, start with the protein source. You could have lean meat like chicken, salmon, or maybe some plant-based proteins, like falafel potentially. If you're going to go for some soups, so say you go to like a Pret, again, try and find some sort of higher protein option, like a lentil soup or a chicken soup. It'll just keep you feeling fuller for longer. And if you're an active person, then that helps to repair your muscles and basically, yeah, maintain that lean muscle mass, which is what we're trying to get here. So they're the kind of things that I would opt for there. If you go to places like M&S, they tend to have like different ranges, like a balanced for you range, and they offer different options that are more of a balance. So you've got things like the char grilled chicken salad, for example. Sushis tend to be pretty good as well. Um, Always try and go for, if you're going to go for a sandwich, yes, high protein, but also like a whole meal based one. Now, when you're looking at snacks that come with these things, I would say the fruit pots are great, or hummus and veggies. That's something that I tend to get. So quite often I'll get a meal deal if I'm at the office. And the thing that I usually go for is like an egg salad. And then with that, I will get a hummus and a carrot stick dip. It's just normally what I have. Or you can get a yogurt snack as well, or maybe some nuts or boiled eggs to go with it. I've already been over some of these like snack options. Like I said, you probably already got these in your bag. With the drinks, I would stick to water where possible, just avoiding any sugary soft drinks that are going to give you like an energy crash. And generally looking at high protein and looking at things that are fibrous too, and things that are going to keep you feeling fuller for longer. Does that give you some ideas? As I said, it's more about what you do on a consistent basis, but that is where I would start. Think about what your body needs. Okay, high protein. Right, okay, let's have a look for a carbohydrate source, more whole meals sort of based. Okay, great. Where are some veggies or fruits that I can put into here? Got those, brilliant, great. I've got my healthy snacks in my bag. I am sorted. Got my water bottle with me. Fantastic. And then that's what you need to do, really. But they would be kind of like my go-tos. I do like sushi as well. I do quite often have sushi. I never used to, but I really like it now. Uh, okay, next. What workouts would you recommend when you're a bit sore from the workout the day before, or would you recommend rest? It depends. Now, the reason you feel sore from your workout the day before is because when we work out, we actually create micro tears in our muscles. So they actually tear a little bit. I know that sounds awful, but this is the way that the body gets stronger. So they tear a little bit and then your body repairs them. So it knits itself back together. And to do that, it needs enough protein, it needs enough water, and it needs adequate rest too. And that's going to include sleeping and also, yeah, rest as in, for example, if we've been working on biceps and the biceps feel like they're absolutely ripping apart, and there's loads of, if we zoomed in, loads of micro tears in there, the last thing you want to be doing is then going and doing a bicep workout on top of that. You're not really going to be getting any gain from doing that, if anything. You want to let them repair first, right? So you can either say if you've done like an upper body workout or a lower body workout, or you've done something like a stronger that's really strength based, you can work in a different way. So if you've done upper, you could do lower, vice versa. If you've done a stronger workout, you might want to work in a different way that, okay, today I'm going to do power walking, or I'm going to do like a yoga or something. But to give your body adequate recovery, they're the things you need: protein, water, and rest. And rest doesn't necessarily mean sitting on a sofa and getting your feet up. The most beneficial type of rest is doing something very, very light, as in going on a short walk or doing some yoga, some like chilled yoga, some stretching, or maybe some yoga scape. This is to encourage blood flow and circulation to help the body recover, to help the body repair. So that would be the best advice. So you could either just opt for like a really light walk, or just go on demand and put in a yoga or a stretch just to help release the body and release tension. And if anything, it just feels really nice as well. But just promoting that blood circulation can really help with the recovery too. When is the best time? Oh, and with that, when you're at the start of your journey, or you're just starting to do different types of workouts, or you're doing stronger and you've just upped your weights, sometimes our body might actually need a little bit more recovery as well. So it's a case of planning your week, but then bearing that in mind and also planning for a bit of flexibility. So you might need to switch your workouts a little bit. So say, for example, if you've planned like two strongers in a row or a stronger and a booty band, and you get to the second day and actually your legs and your butt are still on fire from stronger the day before, it might just be a case of having that flexibility and being like, okay, well, obviously that's not a good idea to do that today. So I'll flip my workouts around. I'll do Friday's workout today and vice versa. Of course, if you're not like following the live classes, or it might just be a case of adapting ever so slightly. But the most important thing is to listen to your body. Listen to your body for sure. Um, Okay, when is the best time to exercise? I'm finding myself exercising after my dinner so that I don't miss doing it. Now, the best time to exercise is the time that works for you. There really is no right or wrong with this. Personally speaking, I find doing it first thing is good because it starts my day on a positive. It really energizes me for the start of the day. It means that I've done something to fill up my cup, so I feel calmer, I feel brighter to be able to serve everybody else and do everything else that I need to do for the rest of the day. It just really, really sorts out my mental space. And also, being a busy person myself, I know what it's like when things crop up in the day and the day just runs away with you. You just say, oh, I'll just finish this and then I'll do it. Something else happens. Oh, I'll just finish this and then it takes a bit longer. And then before you know it, it's like, right, well, I'm gonna have to start tomorrow now. So I always find that doing it first thing in the morning means that it's done and it is undisturbed, and I just feel so great. So that's a habit that I've got into. But that's personally speaking. Some people really like working out at lunchtime because it gives them like a bit of an energizing break. Some mums like dropping their kids off at nursery or at school and then coming back and doing that, doing something for themselves. Some people like the transition between when they finish work and then hopping onto an on-demand straight away before they then go and prepare dinner. And some people like doing it afterwards. So it just really, really depends on what works best for you and your routine. And that might depend on the season, it might depend on the time of year, the chapter of your life, like what you're going through. So just make it work for you right now and be flexible with it. It's allowed to change. Of course, it's allowed to change, but just making sure that you are consistently showing up for you, no matter what that looks like. So it might be worth trying a few different things, but in answer to your question, there's no right or wrong time. Some people find that working out and doing something high intensity just before they go to bed messes with their sleep a little bit, but not everybody finds that. So you've just got to experiment and see what works for you. Maybe keep like a bit of a track of it as well, seeing what works best for you. How do you pick exercises to start this journey? I'm new to exercise and I don't want to do my knackered old body any injuries by going too hard, too fast. Now, age is but a number. But if you are just new to this journey and you just really don't know where to begin, if you go onto the 6 week area, there's a button that says where to begin or where to start. And I've broken it down depending on where you're at with your fitness journey right now and what you want to focus on, the things that you want to be focusing on. So definitely check that out and let me know if you're not sure. But generally speaking, and this is what I would do personally, I would sit down and kind of have a look through on demand and maybe the bolt on area and just put a few things into my favorites that I think I might want to try, and then having a little look at them. But just remember that when you're working out online, you can do as much or as little as you like. You could come along to a live class and you could stay for the first 5 or 10 minutes and then leave and think, okay, my aim is by week 3 or week 4, I am going to stay for another 5 minutes and build it up that way. You can also reduce the intensity. You can reduce the weights to begin with. You might even start off with water bottles or tins instead of using hand weights or barbells. So it's just about meeting yourself where you're at right now, taking the pressure off and doing what you can do. But I would definitely have a look at that area and ask me if you're not sure after that, and I will be able to point you in the right direction. But my honest best advice is just to try out a few different things. And maybe before you do them, so you could come along to the lives, for example, but before you do it, just have a little look on demand, even type it into the search bar, just have a little nosy and see if it's something that you would want to try. And then just give it 5 minutes and see what you think, or 5 or 10 minutes and see what you think. And you might surprise yourself. And I would also, as well, start off by, say, doing, like, we always recommend about 3 workouts when you first begin. You don't need to be going hell for leather like every single day. So maybe just starting off with 3 short workouts, and then the next week seeing how you feel, either add on in time, or if you fancy doing 4, do 4, but just starting to find your feet a little bit. And that's what the 6 week course is all about. Or even if you're not on the 6 week course and you're just kind of getting back into it or back into a routine because you feel like things have slipped a little bit recently, just find your feet. Find your feet, find some sort of routine that's going to work for you right now, and take the pressure off. How do you stay consistent? Now, that's a good question. That's a really, really good question. I think it comes down to a few things. I think it comes down to getting into a routine, and that is why I'm so adamant on the mornings, because I think if you do that, it becomes part of your day. And it becomes easier to stay consistent because it's just something that you do. Like, you wake up, you get your workout done. It is just something that you do consistently. So having a routine makes it so much easier to stay consistent. And it also removes any decision fatigue. So it's really, really difficult to not commit 100% to something. Because if you're kind of all in, like, oh, I'll see how I feel, or oh, yeah, I might do that, or I will try, like, you're already setting yourself up for failure by saying all of those things, because you're allowing yourself a get out clause, which is actually really fatiguing, because that little space between I might or I'll try, that little space between doing it and might or trying, is a huge negotiation that's going on in your head. Shall I, shan't I? Shall I, shan't I? Don't know if I've got enough energy. Or maybe I should, because if I don't, I'll be really annoyed at myself. Oh, yeah, but oh, I've been invited out now. I don't know what to do. And oh, but maybe I just need a bit more of a lie-in. And that negotiation in your head is exhausting. Whereas sometimes if you just make that decision to commit and go all in 100%, then it's so much easier to stay consistent in the long term because you've committed to it. You're doing it. No matter what, doing it right, boom, move on. Think about something else. Don't let it take up the headspace, unnecessary headspace. So that is how I would say consistent. And another thing is recognizing the fact that we're humans and we are going to slip up. We are, and it's inevitable. And it's not about the slip ups that happen, it's about how you respond to the slip ups that happen. So, for example, if you're really trying to be on it with your diet, and you're trying to stay consistent with your diet, and then you end up opening a pack of biscuits, and 2 biscuits that you were going to have leads to 4 or 5 biscuits. And then you think, oh, well, never mind. I might as well, oh, yeah, I might as well have a couple of chocolates now. And then, oh, I've had them. Oh, yeah, crack the wine open, whatever. It kind of snowballs. It's about how you pick yourself up after it. Because you could quite easily say, oh, well, I had a rubbish night last night and I'm going out for, I don't know, afternoon tea today, and then tomorrow it's Sunday lunch. So what I'll do is I'll start on Monday. Like, all of a sudden, you've got this one one little episode that happened on Friday night that spills into Saturday, that then spills into Sunday, and then that's 3 days. Whereas you could just draw a line. You could just draw a line and think, oh well, never mind, didn't quite go to plan, did it? But today's a new day. Let's start again. And don't let it weigh on your mind. And also when you're in that moment as well, just think about this. If you, and I really like this analogy, if you spilt a little bit of milk, would you stand there and pour out the whole carton? You think, oh, I've spilled a bit of milk. Oh, well, I might as well pour the whole thing on the floor now. Or if you got some eggs out of the fridge and you dropped an egg, would you then just grab the rest of the packet, turn it upside down, and throw it on the floor? No, you wouldn't. So why do we do that? Why do we do that with our health and fitness? It just doesn't make sense. So it really is about having that little moment to reframe things. And sometimes by saying it out loud, bring the subconscious to the conscious, like actually call yourself out doing it. Why am I doing that? Or you could write it down. You could write down things, um, pros and cons, pros and cons of what your actions are, what you're doing, what you have done. And then we move on, we draw a line. So one of the best ways to stay consistent is when you do slip up, draw a line, move on. Don't think about it. Don't let it weigh on your mind. It doesn't matter. All that matters is what you do from this moment on, moving forwards. And I think they're probably my two main points, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. So do let me know what you think. But I honestly think that getting into a good routine is number one, whatever routine that is for you, however that works best for you. So it becomes part of what you do, and then you don't have to think about it. Committing to something 100% rather than giving yourself that little bit of leeway or that get out clause that is really unhelpful. And then when you do slip up, just cutting yourself some slack, drawing a line, and moving on immediately. We don't need to carry on. Anyway, that's all for the Q&A. I really hope that's been useful, gang, and I look forward to hearing your thoughts on the poll for the classes next week and seeing all of your Advent challenges as well. Have a wonderful day, everybody, and I'll see you in class bright and early.